Hey guys, welcome back to Pistons Talk Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great Monday evening. I got over that Lions loss, probably not. I am joined by Lazarus Jackson, editor over at the DetroitBadBoys.com. Laz, welcome back to the show. I don't feel like I've talked to you in a very long time.
We did the live stream for one of the games earlier in the regular season. That was the last time we did like a show together. But yeah, it's been a while. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me, Anthony. Thanks for bringing me back on. I appreciate it.
I
I
was.
will say I'm not a Lions fan. I volunteered up my Lions fandom when Calvin retired, and I made the decision that if I jump back on, it would be bandwagoning, and I want to do that. So I'm like fan homeless. But yeah, that's if I was still a Lions fan, I would be having a very hard Monday as well. So I feel for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, my whole timeline is just like I'm just doom scrolling like Lions beat reporters and like Lions Twitter right now, and it's just like it's bad when like people are just like, when did the Pistons play again? Like they've like skipped over the Tigers, even though like the Tigers are doing
The
great right
Tigers are
now.
going. The Tigers
They're,
look
they're-
bad too. So
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, uh, I mean, 3 weeks until training camp, but today's podcast should be pretty fun. I think we're going to be doing expectations with 9 guys in the rotation. So I wanted to start with Cade Cunningham first. So, what kind of things are you expecting out of him this upcoming season?
sure. So I think Cade is gonna have to be. My expectation for Cade is to lead this team to a playoff berth again, to play at an all-star level. Like maybe some guys don't get injured this year and he's not selected for an all-star spot. Like okay, sure, play at an all NBA level. I thought he was deserving of being a second team all NBA type performer last year. He obviously made third team, and so I think he can replicate that. The thing I would like to see him develop and do a little bit better is the 3-point shooting. We saw in particular in the Knicks series how his uncomfortableness, his uncomfortability. I don't know. He looked uncomfortable taking like pull up
Yeah.
threes, and so it's like he's got to get a little bit better at that. But that was really we're picking flaws, right? Again, like Cade was the engine that drove this team to a playoff berth last season. So that's what my expectations for Cade are. Like more of the same. I don't expect like a huge jump. I don't know if that's reasonable after like a career year last year. But yeah, more of the same. Like maybe like a little like 3% bump, right? Adjust for inflation, Cade.
Yeah. I felt like once the regular season was over, like he just had tired legs. And
Mhm.
maybe I'm just kind of using an excuse for why that 3-point shot wasn't going in, because at times during the season it looked really good. I mean, I remember he was shooting like 40% from three really early on in the season. I was like, hey, if you can shoot 40%, man, that's huge. But I do agree with you there. I kind of expect his scoring to dip down a little bit with Jaden Ivey coming back. Like I don't expect
Hmm.
him to, average 26 a night, because I don't really think he has to. I know he's capable of doing it, but I don't really think the scoring load will be on him every night with not having Jaden Ivey. And um, I'm not even gonna mention like Malik Beasley, because I've talked about it as not nauseum. I don't know about you, but it's just like I don't really know what's gonna happen there. But like I could see a scoring being like around maybe like 23 to like 24 a game with a healthy Ivy coming back.
I could see that too. And if that corresponds with like if he was averaging 26 and 9, and now he's averaging 24 and 10, like those are functionally the same numbers, right? 10 assists
Yeah.
looks cooler though. I'll grant him that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool if he did have like 10 assists and the turnovers were like maybe I could live with like 3 a game with his usage, but I don't know about you.
It's like I've told myself at this point that it kind of is that's who he is, and so I'm living with 4, right? You live with 4, and you just enjoy the playmaking and the crazy assists he made at the end of game 2 against the Knicks and stuff. So
Yeah, like I said, I don't really think too many people are gonna have like expectations for him to just like, you know, either drop off or, average 30. I don't really see that in his future, but I know he's capable of scoring 30 and everything. But,
Yeah,
averaging 30, that's a lot to ask out of, Cade. Not to
yeah,
say that he can't do it, but I mean, like, there's levels. I
yeah.
just don't really know if he's there yet.
The type of like he would have to change his game, I think, to get to that level, right? He'd have to take a lot more threes. We talked about how that wasn't necessarily like something he wanted to do last year. He'd have to get to the free throw line a lot more. I thought he did. I thought he got more calls. I don't know if he did anything like magically better after the All-Star break, but it definitely seemed like being named an All-Star gave him like more respect in the referee's eyes, and so he got some more calls. But yeah, like those are the ways you get to 30 is more threes, shooting better from three and more free throws, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he got SGA's whistle, he'd probably get 30 easy.
Easily.
I think a
Easily.
lot of people would average 30 if they had SGA's whistle. Like I literally saw an interview with him the other day. He's just like, yeah, I didn't like playing football because I fell on it and like it took the air out of. I think he fell on a football and then like he just couldn't stop breathing. And everyone's like, well, you can't flop in football, SGA. I was like, wow,
Ouch.
the hate is real. The hate is real. I did want to kind of like stick with the backcourt. Jaden Ivey, I have a lot of expectations for him, but I'd love to hear what you think. Like with him, coming off an injury last year, played really good in 30 games. But what do you think we could see out of him this year?
Yeah, this is the tricky one for me because I do think that like Jaden was starting to hit his stride right before the injury. Um, but we never really got to see him and Ausar play together. And that was the thing. That's something I'm most curious to see is how those two guys kind of interact with each other on the court. Jaden shot really well on catch and shoot threes last year. It's a big addition. Like if you're going to be next to Cade Cunningham, shooting good on catch and shoot threes is a really good way to fit in next to him. Um, and I thought that he did a good job like balancing his uh, 3-point attempts and like shots at the rim. I thought he did a good job of like keeping those two in tension and like not so the defense like couldn't key in on what exactly he wanted to do. What I will say though is that he still needs to finish better at the rim. This is something that like Kuka Hill has been on top of for like 2 seasons, and it's true. And I think that he needs to, if he's going to be in bench lineups with Caris LeVert and they're like sharing ball handling duties, like neither one is like a really like a primary per se. I think Jaden needs to do a little bit better job of distributing, right? Sometimes you can see him you can see him pass or like his mindset is to pass and sometimes his mindset is to shoot, and he needs to do I think a better job like switching between the two or being kind of creative in the flow of things, so like predetermining like what he's going to do. But I think Jaden's going to be a really good player this year. He's, as far as we know, like as of this recording, he's still competing for a contract, so I'm sure he's going to be motivated to put up counting stats. I don't know how if that leads to winning, I think that'll be a good thing. I think we've seen in the case of like Cam Thomas and Josh Giddey, like just like putting up counting stats and putting up numbers like isn't necessarily enough to get the kind of contract you want. So I do worry about that. But if the team wins and Jaden puts up really good numbers and he's able to handle the ball in bench lineups and is able to shoot like really well on catch and shoot threes, like it'll be a successful season for him in my mind.
I feel like he has so much pressure on him, and I think it's his fans putting pressure on him. I don't really think it's like the organization putting pressure on him because like we haven't seen this backcourt actually play like constructive, like more than like what, like maybe 40, 50 games together. You had the Monty year, which was this whole experience in itself. His rookie year, Cade goes down.
Yeah.
Last year, I felt like he was starting to turn a corner and was putting everything together. He was hitting his 3-point shots at a pretty good clip, but I do agree with you with the finishing at the rim. It kind of boggles my mind given the type of athlete he is and that just that fast twitch first step that he does have. I'd like to see those numbers go up. I think my expectations for him defensively, I want him to fight a little bit more up the top of screens because I
Mhm.
feel like in certain situations, sometimes he will, and sometimes he's just like, nope, hey Stu, you got him? Like, or hey, Ausar, you got him? And Asar's like way over on the opposite side of the court. Like, I want to see him get better defensively. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely been a weakness of him. But I think at this point, like it's also kind of what I expect. He's like maybe it's a technique thing more than an effort thing. I don't think he's like bad at effort, but I do just want him to like be a little bit better about getting around screens, being a little bit better as like the low man. He's such a good athlete, and he's never been like a really good rebounder, and like that'd be one way to contribute defensively is just like average like 5.5 rebounds a game from your shooting guard spot. Like that'd be really cool. So yeah, but I don't have grand expectations for his defense. I kind of just think that's kind of who he is as a player.
He sucks me in, man. It'll be like a game where there was a game this year where he was just like fighting over the top of screens. He was really active, and I was like, okay, maybe that's something to build off. And then like the next game, he like injures his toe and he's out for a week. I was like, crap. So like all the expectations.
Never hustle.
Yeah, you injured yourself playing too hard. But I think the one question I have is like, obviously they didn't sign a backup point guard. And they still want to stagger, and I guess you could probably play Caris LeVert, handling the ball. Maybe Ausar does get some reps there, but my only like probably question, maybe you can answer this for me, is just like, do you run the risk of him, overworking himself, being in the starting lineup with Cade and then trying to run that second unit?
I don't think so, or I hope not, right? Because I think that's ultimately like what his role is going to be as a professional. And so you'd hope he'd execute like really well in that role as opposed to it being like a little too much for him. I do like I'm not super comfortable with if he can't do it, then that means like Caris LeVert is your backup point guard. I'm not super comfortable with that. So I would really prefer for him to rise to that level and them to be able to share ball handling duties. So like I hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I just worry with just like getting like overloaded through a long NBA season. Obviously, like you mentioned like Cade earlier, like his legs looked really tired come playoff time, and the 3-point shot kind of suffered. Like I just wonder and question if having him as a second unit backup point guard could kind of have a similar effect of terms of just his production night in and night out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair concern. Absolutely.
Well, hey man, I hope you're right. I hope you can handle it. I don't want to see Marcus Sasser backup point guard minutes. Love you, Marcus, but
yeah, we ran that experiment. It didn't go so good.
I hope that experiment died. I talked about Marcus Sasser for 20 minutes last night. I don't even know why. Like people are asking about like what
because it's September. That's why.
Yeah, it's just like, man, I should not be going this in depth with Marcus Sasser right now, but you guys are just. I love my subscribers. Like they're the definition of just Pistons diehards. So Ausar Thompson, I'd love to hear like what you think he could have this upcoming season, because I feel like he's a big X factor.
Yeah, I've been calling him the secret sauce, right? Like when he came back, that's when things like really started to take off for Detroit. It's weird. My expectations for him are to just like see him play an entire season, don't get hurt, and like be the insane athlete he is. Maybe that results in like an all defense team. Maybe that results in like a most improved player candidacy. Like I know like Zach Lowe was like talking him up on the latest edition of the Zach Lowe show, and I don't think that's like. It's nice to have national people like care about the third or fourth guy on the Pistons. But yeah, I don't think the shot is going to be in a space to where like teams are going to have to guard him on the perimeter. And so my expectation for him is improve the handle, right? It's like we're talking about Cade, we're talking about Jaden Ivey. Maybe Ausar can be like a tertiary ball handler for this team, and that's something that they can actually like give him the room to explore during a long regular season. Because I think the handle has a better chance of getting to a place where that becomes like a weapon for him offensively than the shot does. For now, my expectations would be like, hey, Ausar, like you don't have to shoot threes. Like shoot them if you're open. Don't worry about it too much. But you do have to make your free throws, right? I think he got noticeably more comfortable at the free throw line as the season went along, and I'd like to see that continue. That was a big like point of improvement for me, just because like he's so quick as a driver that like if like guys are gonna foul him if he has the ball in his hands and he starts driving. And so you're like, if you're going to get fouled, like it'd be nice if we could get like actual free throws out of this. It was a decent jump, like 60% to 64% over his rookie year. But like, I'd like to see that get closer to like 75%.
It's so funny because a couple of weeks ago, I got in a heated argument over what's more important, him developing a 3-point shot or a handle. And I said handle. And the guest that I had on was crashing out over it. I was just like, man, like if he develops a handle, he can get to the free throw line. I think that opens up his game more, getting to the free throw line. Not only that, like he makes some like you have to rewind your TV type passes because you're like, what did he just really make that pass like underneath the basket like that? Like,
yeah,
I think so. I think his passing, I don't want to say it's underrated, but I don't think it gets talked enough, in my personal opinion, in the Pistons space. But
yeah,
I do agree.
He doesn't have the ball enough to pass
Yeah.
it enough to like where it becomes like a talking point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like if he had a tighter handle, maybe he does take on more on-ball reps because I think he's more than capable of it. I know JB kind of experimented with like the point of Sar, and I think a lot of teams last year didn't really know how to guard him because he's just so fast and so strong. And by the time he jumps or cuts, you're like, oh crap, it's going in. Or like the Knicks assistant coaches, every time he was in the dunker spot about to cut, like they're yelling at Josh Hart, and Josh Hart's like, what? And then like he's up in the air. It's just like
Right.
his athleticism is just crazy. I don't expect his 3-point shot to just go from like whatever it was this year. I haven't even checked to like 40%. I just don't see it that way. If he can develop a handle, I think it's great. I'm with you on the free throw percentage. Like if he can get from like 64 to 70-ish, I think that's just a win. You can kind of check that off as a box of like what you want to see Ausar improve on. But to me, like if he develops any sort of a jump shot, I think that's a big win for the Pistons.
Yeah. And like even if that's those like 10-foot like moonshot jumpers he was shooting his rookie year, but if he's able to get to his spot like into the paint and like rise and fire and make those shots consistently, then like you'll take that offensive contribution. And then like defensively, like everybody already knows what he's going to do defensively. He's going to mess stuff up. Like he's just going to like shut down guys. Like it's going to be great.
Yeah, I like his defense is crazy. Like you could set a screen and it doesn't matter. He's like glued to the defender. Like I've never seen like someone like set a pick and the star's still on him. And then like if he does get beat, his recovery speed, like I don't know how many times last year I had to rewind my TV because I didn't believe the recovery of him like blocking a shot or contesting a shot or covering for Jalen Duren because he wasn't paying attention or just like little things like that. I'm like, man, this kid is just so different. Like both of him and his brother, like they're just like A1 athletes, man. It's honestly like really just fun to watch them play basketball.
Yeah, they're really fun to watch.
Man, I still have to watch that podcast of him and his brother. I keep seeing it on my timeline. I just haven't had the time to watch the podcast with the old man of the
yeah, man. I'm trying to watch the like Pablo Torre Kawhi Leonard podcast. And, like I haven't had time to do that. So it's just like it's in the backlog, right? It'll keep.
Oh, that Pablo podcast, and then the Mark Cuban follow up. I think was even better than the whole like him finding out about the Kawhi stuff, man. Like, I didn't think we would be getting this much like juicy like content in September. I know Shams Charania kind of trolled all of us saying it'd be the busiest NBA offseason ever, but I mean, I didn't expect this kind of stuff. Like the memes are just funny. It's just like, you know, Kawhi gets banned for 50 games and he'll be healthy just in time for the playoffs or everything like that. Like it's so funny, man. Like, I did want to talk about a former Clipper, Tobias Harris.
Good transition.
if you guys know, What are you expecting out of Uncle T this year?
Man, I want Uncle T to stay healthy, right? He's still the only player, he's still the only wing that you can reliably say can dribble, pass, and shoot for the Pistons. And if he doesn't play, like things get gnarly, like rotation wise, like really quickly. And so I want him to play like 75 games again.
Mhm.
Continue to shoot the ball well. My hope is that like they don't have to like he plays all those games, but they're not like leaning on him to contribute like offensively like all the time in a way that like it felt like for the first half of the season, like if Cade wasn't playing, it was like, hey, like Malik make some threes or like Tobias like post up on the left block, right? Like those were the only two
Yeah.
like offensive options. And my hope is that they don't have to do that for him anymore. Like it's a mismatch thing, you can exploit it, but it's not something that like you need to like wear him down for 75 games a year. And then defensively, like I presume he's going to be older. It's like maybe a little bit worse defensively. I'd like to see again like more of an effort on the defensive glass. He surprised me in that area last year, so I just want to like reiterate that like that's a thing that I want to see him focus on again this year. And then yeah, maybe it's like maybe help Jaden Ivey out every once in a while. Maybe take some matchups so that Ausar doesn't have to guard like everybody all the time, right?
Yeah.
Would be nice. But yeah, no, I think it's a real blessing to have Tobias here in like such a rock steady like veteran role for this team because like I'm again like I was looking at this roster and it's like man like if he's not here like they really just like don't have another guy like him in a way that like really is damaging for the team. So yeah, just keep being yourself, Uncle T.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, like I think a lot of Pistons fans are looking at Tobias, and obviously, like what he did last season, I didn't expect him to rebound the basketball like he did. I was just kind of expecting maybe like 14 and 6 a night and some pretty good shooting splits. But like
Mhm.
the rebounding, I thought was really crucial. And when he was injured towards the end of the season, you really saw his impact just on the glass because it seemed like no one like obviously this team is still young and they're still learning how to, win basketball games together collectively. But I think you see his veteran leadership out there. I know in the beginning of the year, like he wasn't really leaned on as much to score. And I know a lot of Pistons fans were like, I can't believe we paid all this guy this money and he's not producing. Cause I remember
Right.
looking at the box scores and it'd be like, 2 for 11, maybe 6 points here and there, a couple rebounds. But I felt like once Jaden Ivey went down, he really picked up his
He really
game
yeah,
and
he did, yeah.
he kind of, became that pillar or that safety blanket for Cade to go to. To your point, I agree with you. I don't really think they should like rely on him as much as they did last year. Try to see if the younger guys can take a step in a direction, or maybe Caris LeVert kind of finds himself in that role as more of that go-to scorer. But my ultimate dream for Tobias Laz is I want him to, after his contract's up, assuming they don't make any crazy trades, is I want to see him play that Al Horford role. I want to see him come off the bench, be that backup power forward, and maybe you feel Ausar is the long-term power forward on this team. Maybe a trade for one, or maybe you sign one. But just his impact as a veteran on the court, and then the leadership
Yeah.
off the court, I think you can't really put a price tag on it.
Yeah, as a culture setter, right? Which is like he played here, but he didn't play here for long. And like last year, he fulfilled a really important role for this team, but like that was his first year playing for the Pistons in like 5 years. But I like the Al Horford comparison as like a steadying presence who you can rely on to actually like do things on both sides of the ball as well.
Yeah, we got a Rod Berger on Facebook saying future front office guy as well. I mean, hey man, like Dwayne Casey got a roll. Why not Tobias when he's all
Yeah.
done? You never know.
No, Tobias is a landlord, man. He's building apartment buildings with his brother out in California. I don't know if he's got time to be at the front office when he's done.
And I was watching a podcast. Speaking of landlords, apparently, like Isaiah Stewart, once he got his extension, he bought a bunch of, I guess, like an apartment building in like Rochester, New York, where he's from. And his dad said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Like, I'd love to be a landlord." So Stu just like bought like an apartment building and then told his dad, like, hey, like, you can be a landlord now. He's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And Stu's like, well, what am I going to do with all this?
Oh no, New York real estate mogul Isaiah Stewart. I didn't see that one coming.
Bro, like his Instagram stories, like he's built like a farm, like planting trees, like he's just living the good life right now.
Yeah, that's dope though. It's like he's in Jamaica, I think, like where his family's from. It's just like, okay, that's pretty cool, right? Just like be on the beach, like making your own like property and stuff. That's the dream.
Did you see the annual Tom Gore's party with Stu and JB dancing?
And Tom Gore's like creeping in the background, like.
Bro, the more I scrolled, like the more people I knew that were there. Like, you had like Pistons social media team people there. I was just like, Big Sean's there. Like, they invited like everyone. Like, they were out in San Diego, California. It was just like a banger of a party.
Yeah, man. I mean, who doesn't love the work trip on the boss's dime to meet Big Sean?
I know Pistons thoughts. He said there was like a party that he could see, and obviously it was a Pistons party because like he said there was a bunch of Piston stuff like floating on the beach. It was like a balloon. He's like, I was there. It was like right down the street. I'm like, man, you should have just went over and introduced yourself.
Yeah, should say something.
Man, I couldn't imagine being a party like that. Like it's probably so much fun. I want to kind of transition into Jalen Duren. I feel like I've been really harsh on him. I don't know about you. I was really harsh on him like first 25 games of the season, but kind of picked it up once Ausar came back. Don't know if that was his effort or Ausar's effort. But what are your expectations for him coming into this season?
Yeah, I noticed much the same thing. And I think you can chalk that up to like a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. I think it's easier to give max effort or give something approaching max effort on the defensive end when you have a guy like Ausar out there in front of you, like making stuff happen. I think it's harder to do that if it's like you're relying on Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jaden Ivey and Malik Beasley and Cade Cunningham to stop dribble penetration all the time. I think the big thing I noticed last year from JD was his comfort level defending like regular non-spacing bigs. I thought he got a lot better at that, a lot better at like hand placement and body placement in the pick and roll, as long as he's like defending, if he's like moving backwards and like kind of in drop, doing a good job like a cat and mouse game, defending the ball handler, defending the roller as well, and just like shutting down the pick and roll and like giving his guys time to recover and like cut off the ball handlers and stuff. I thought he did a really good job of that. It was really apparent to me how much more comfortable he was defending Mitchell Robinson than Karl Anthony Towns in the playoff series. So like I'd like to see like that continue, and obviously the next step is to get better at get more comfortable at defending in space, get more comfortable defending stretch bigs. Offensively, I was a little surprised when I looked at the numbers. Like his scoring went down, and so you'd like to see the scoring kind of tick back up. He also shot a lot worse from the free throw line, and like he was a really good free throw shooter in year two. And I didn't think he did anything like differently from a form perspective. So it's like, yeah, get back to like close to 80% from the line, JD. That would be good. And then get up to like so at times last year, especially during the Monty year, I got really frustrated with JD because it felt like at times there was a lot of like, it's like, well, nobody else has anything going. Like, I'll just take the ball from the free throw line and do like a HB dive and like, I'll see what I can do. And JB did a great job cutting a lot of that stuff out and turning those into like dribble handoffs or pick and rolls for the ball handlers. But I do think like now that he's more mature, I think there's a level to like reintroduce a little bit of that stuff just to make sure that the defense isn't always keying in on the guards as ball handlers, right? JD's quick enough and got like decent touch in like the mid range. There's enough room, I think, for JD to like give the ball, like fake a handoff, get to the middle, like get a floater going, and like get some points that way. And I'd like to see a little bit more of offensive diversity, like in his game. That sounds because like I was so critical like 2 years ago of what he was doing, and now it's like no, it's like, but that's like as you build trust and like as you show effectiveness on the defensive end and And like, as I believe, like, okay, like I know that you can like just do this regular thing at a baseline level, you start to build on top of that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for JD going into this season.
Are you buying into the jump shot, the mid-range jump shot that he's working on this summer?
I mean, he's practicing it. I'd come in before the games. I see him warm up. Like he is taking those mid-range jumpers. I don't know how valuable 18-foot jumpers are in today's NBA, catch and shoot 18-foot jumpers. My thing would be like, if you can turn those into better free throw percentage, like great. If you like hit one in the first quarter, like great. But that should not be a source of consistent offense for Jalen Duren.
Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of Pistons because I had posted the video. The guy he's working with, the guard whisperer, he had
Oh, he's
sent
working
me.
with Olin
Yeah,
Simpless.
yeah.
Okay, that's
So
interesting.
he's working with him and Evan Mobley like a lot this summer. So it made me think like he's showcasing his jump shot a lot, and even Stu is kind of like posted as well. So it just has me thinking like, is that something that the Pistons want to explore more? Do they tease us with the two big lineup again? Because we always kind of talk about not having a power forward. I was like, are they just gonna like kind of
We're going back to Stewart power forward.
yeah, are they gonna pull the Joker card out and then like we don't have a power forward issue anymore? But I mean, I think everything you said about Jalen Duren, I've kind of had the same opinions. Like during the Monty year, his stats look so inflated. You're like, wow, 80% from the free throw line. Putting up some good stats. This year, it's just like at one point he was only shooting 50% from the free throw line. It picked up a little bit. I thought the form looked very similar. I don't know if it was like maybe he's more of a rhythm guy where like if he's not getting a whole lot of touches, maybe the ball's not going in. Because I know some guys are like that. Like if they need like 15 shots and if they don't get 15 shots, they're like three for I don't know 9 that game. They don't get their 15, but yeah, offensively, I think there's a lot of things that I like that he does. I think he's gotten a whole lot better at dribble handoffs. Interested to see if he gets better because Duncan Robinson worked with Bam Adebayo a lot. Maybe Duncan can help him get better at those DHOs. Defensively, it's just those stretch fives are his kryptonite. Like
Yeah.
we got to see Miles Turner 4 times a year again because he's with the Bucks. Like Miles Turner's a lot more agile.
No more Brook Lopez. Only Brook Lopez twice a year.
Man, yeah, the Clippers offseason is just like the unction, if you ask me. They're so old, man. They're so old.
Yeah, they really are.
But yeah, the stretch fives is obviously his kryptonite. I thought he got a little bit better, a little bit more disciplined. But to your point, like when he's just playing like a non, face up big, he's great. Like I thought when he was going up against Nick Claxton with the Brooklyn Nets, I thought he did like a phenomenal job just protecting the rim and being switchable and communicating. But like I think the next step for him defensively is just be more locked in. Like I know Trajan had mentioned it, like, last 50 games of the season, he was great. First 25, like not so much. So hopefully we get locked in JD and not like kind of like not paying attention JD, because that's what I was kind of calling him. Because like 1 minute, like he's locked in, next minute he's just like looking, he's like, oh, that was on me, my bad, Cade. And Cade's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? But I feel like he's kind of like in the Jaden Ivey situation, especially with like the contract years. Like if you want a big boy contract, you're probably going to have to like put it all together, assuming they don't give him one over the next month.
Yeah. I think it's easier for me to see how both from a like this is what other comparable players get paid version and like you kind of fit here long term. Like it's easier for me to see how he gets an extension than Jaden Ivey, but I do think it's just like up in the air for both of them right now.
I did hear the Pistons did give Jaden Ivey a contract extension, but he didn't take it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And they made him an offer.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the John Hollinger like
10 million or whatever.
I saw that. I was like, bro, if someone offered me 10 million, I would.
Uh-oh. Anthony, I lose you? Chat. I think I lost him. Maybe it's me. You back?
Yeah, we're back, man. It's so funny. I've lost internet so many times over the past like 4 weeks. I even scaled it back to 720p, and StreamYard told me it's all good, but almost lost you for a minute there.
You're good. You're good. I was worried it was me because I had some internet problems last week too. So
I don't know. T-Mobile, like they're trying to strong arm everyone right now. They went from like, oh, we have one plan unlimited. Now there's like, well, if you want fast internet, it's 70. I'm like, dude, don't pull a Comcast or a WoW on me right now.
Right,
Like,
the bait and switch.
Yeah, honestly, just don't do it. I think we were just kind of wrapping up on the Jalen Duren talk, but I don't know if you had anything more to contribute with it.
No, I'm curious to see who the next guy on your list is, though.
Caris LeVert.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right. Probably maybe the backup point guard, playing some shooting guard next to Jaden Ivey. What do you expect out of him?
So my expectations for Caris are hopefully just like continue to shoot the ball well from three, take some pressure off of whoever the other ball handler you're on the floor with is, continue to be like just a really good slasher, and like don't try and do too much, right? I feel like we talked a little bit about Jaden Ivey and overextension. If you're in a place where Caris LeVert is handling the ball all the time, or you feel like that's your primary like point guard or backup point guard, then I feel like you've overextended him a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so again, like I just really want him focus on like sharing the ball handling duties between him and another guard, whoever that guard may be. And then defensively, I felt like he was engaged in Cleveland. I felt like he got less engaged in Atlanta. JB has experience playing or like coaching Caris LeVert, and so I'm hopeful that like he can restore some of that defensive intensity. It's like between Stu and Ron Holland, like I expect there to be good defensive players on the floor in bench lineups. It's just don't be something that like defenses feel like they can pick at, right? Like that would be my ask for Caris from a defensive perspective.
I think he's a clear upgrade over Tim Hardaway Jr. and the defensive, like if you're having that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Initially, I wasn't the biggest fan of the signing because free agency, I think for a lot of us before the Malik news broke, like we just thought we were just like team run it back. Like we were going to just like re-sign Dennis and bring Malik back. And then we had to pivot really fast. And I thought they did a pretty good job. But like the more I've had time to, dig into the numbers, watch him a little bit, I think he's really going to help Jaden Ivey in the sense where Jaden Ivey, in the second unit, won't have to do everything himself. Like they can share bringing the ball up the court. Jaden Ivey can, come off more screens, play more off ball. And Caris has shown the ability, if you need a bucket, he can go get it. I just question like how much are him and Cade Cunningham going to see the floor together? Because I feel like they like kind of doing the same thing. They like getting to the same spots. And I just question maybe spacing wise, like how that would work. I know Caris can knock down some 3-point shots. I'd like to see him get back to his college numbers, but maybe that's a big ask.
Yeah, that's a pretty big ask. But yeah, I think that it would be good for Cade to play alongside another guy who can handle the ball and get him some catch and shoot looks. Like you saw Cade and Dennis play together for stretches, and like that worked fine offensively. My thing with Caris is like, as long as he's like attacking the rim and not settling for jumpers or just like kind of just taking shots just because somebody has to take some shots in these bench lineups. Like I feel a lot better about his game if under those circumstances.
Yeah, I mean we got a kind of a comment that's aligning with yours. Jason Griffin watching on Facebook said need LeVert from the Nets, not the recent version, secondary handler. off the bench scoring. I have low expectations for him. He's only been okay the last few years. I kind of agree, like maybe just, being that secondary handler and like, kind of taking that scoring load or the pressure off maybe the second unit, or maybe when he is out there with Cade, where Cade doesn't have to do everything. I thought he's been at least above average. I think that's kind of harsh saying he's just been okay, but maybe that's just my Piston fandom leaking out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he was definitely more prolific in Brooklyn, and so people have like a better memories of him there. But that was also like it's like 5 years ago now at this point. And he started for those Brooklyn teams. I don't think he will be like that type of player. That was like I'm looking at his numbers. He was like an 18, 20 point per game guy in Brooklyn. And like I think it's much more reasonable to ask him to do what he did last year. Just like 15 points, take good shots. Didn't shoot crazy good from three, but got up 5 a game. Like that's pretty good. Assists have like never, like just keep the ball moving, but don't necessarily expect him to be like this like huge distributor. So yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at with like the version of Caris LeVert I think we're going to get.
Yeah, same here. I don't expect him to like come in and like average like 18, like you mentioned a little while ago. I think in Brooklyn he wasn't really defending. Maybe that's why he was averaging 18.
Maybe.
Even he like kind of like touched on it when he was talking with the beat reporters last month. He said like, yeah, when I was in Brooklyn, like no one asked me to defend. He's like, when I got to Cleveland, JB demanded I defend and play defense. And he's like, it was the first time ever in my career anyone asked me to play defense. So I think defensively, he's a huge upgrade over Tim Hardaway Jr. Don't know how many charges he's going to take like THJ did, but at least he's switchable. At least like when he's out there, you don't have to hold your breath just hoping that like, there's not like a smaller, faster guard that could just get to the basket. And then you're like, oh crap, that's a basket.
Yeah. It's like, I think he can be a little bit better than Tim Hardaway Jr., but Tim Hardaway Jr. was like just average, right?
Yeah, just enough where it's just like he's not terrible, but he's not good. It's just kind of in the middle.
He's not hurting you, but like I don't want him guarding like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell like either.
Like the defense isn't that great when you got the FanDuel broadcast bringing up like he's like second in charges like every like game. Like, oh, let's see where he's at in charges. Oh, he's number 1. I was like, yeah, we get it. He's not that good. I know you guys gotta have positive spins on everything, which is probably very difficult. But I mean, like, at least we know Caris can at least stay in front of, faster and bigger players out there. But I did want to stick with new acquisitions and Duncan Robinson. So I feel like a lot of people initially hated the deal. I was one of those. Full transparency. I saw the deal. I was like, that's a lot. And then the contract details came out, and I was like, Trajan, you dog. But what are your expectations for Duncan Robinson with the Pistons this year?
Yeah, I expect him to be like a combination of like the Beasley and THJ replacements. Both of those guys got up lots of 3-pointers, and they hit them at a really good clip. And it felt like they kept the Pistons like offense afloat at times. I feel like Duncan Robinson like definitely has the capability to do that. He's also a little bit bigger than both of those guys, and so I think that he can contribute a little bit more defensively than like Beasley or THJ. Something he did in Miami that I'm not sure he'll be able to do in Detroit was like get off these DHOs and like leverage his threat as a shooter to like get to the paint or get all the way to the rim. Part of that is like he was doing a lot of that with Bam Adebayo, and whoever he plays with, whether it's Isaiah Stewart or Jalen Duren, like won't demand as much defensive attention as Bam Adebayo does. And so I do wonder if like some of those driving lanes like won't be nearly as open because like teams are just like, all right, like if Isaiah Stewart like catches the ball at 12 feet, like we're cool with that, right? As opposed to Bam and that floater and those jumpers. But yeah, as long as he doesn't like forget how to shoot, I think Duncan Robinson will be like a perfectly good contributor like to this team. And then the contract, like you mentioned, like half of it's not guaranteed. Like it's basically like a 1-year deal with some stuff tacked onto the end. And so it's like, okay, if he plays really well, like maybe you can, it's like he's still under team control. If he doesn't play particularly well, like you can just kind of use the non-guarantee and like try to find another shooter. Maybe that's Malik Beasley. Maybe that's somebody else. Maybe it's Chaz Lanier, right? And so like, it's just a really good spot for the team to have a guy like in that role, right? Because we saw how important it is to surround Cade with shooting, and like Duncan Robinson's an elite shooter. We saw that like the first 2 years when we didn't surround Cade with shooting, right?
Oh man, yeah, I went down that rabbit hole last night. I was just like, how did we surround Cade with such bad spacing? Like it was atrocious. I honestly I just got pissed off, like kind of thinking about it. Like
Just thinking of
it's just like, Troy drafted guys, but he just drafted guys. It's like I have some talent, but I don't really know how they go together. It's like trying to have puzzle pieces and they just don't fit until you get more spacing around them. That's kind of felt like what he was doing. It's just like I got a bunch of these puzzle pieces, but I don't know like where to put them. But I kind of agree with your Duncan Robinson assessment. I kind of wonder though, because you mentioned the Bam thing, and I think that's crucial because Stu has shown the ability. He showed it a little bit to shoot a little bit in the mid range, but not as much as Bam. I wonder though if he's going to be shooting more, because it seems like at the end of the year he started to let it fly a little bit. At the beginning of the season, he was just in the post, just scrapping for rebounds. But in terms of Duncan, I think they'll use him a lot. Off screens, curling, motion. I think the one thing with him that I think is kind of underrated is he's a pretty good passer for his size and just being able to make reads, and he's really good at finishing at the rim. He's like kind of sneaky good at that, but I'm not really expecting too much out of him. Maybe he can kind of play a similar Malik Beasley role. I'm not saying that he's going to make 300 threes. He's made 200 threes.
Yeah.
I didn't think Malik Beasley was going to make 300 threes, but he did. But I mean, when you're shooting that many attempts a game, it's a pretty good probability that you're going to probably, make over 200 in the season. But I think he's a good player. I think the contract is really decent. I have a pretty good feeling he's probably not going to be here for that long, given the way the contract is constructed.
Yeah, it does kind of set that up nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, like it's an NFL contract if I've ever seen one in the NBA. Like I've never seen it. I've never seen like honestly, I can't remember the last time I saw a contract that was just like front loaded. Like you get your 15 million for like the year or whatever he's making, and then it's just like 2 million. It's just like that's some NFL type shit, Trajan. Like I love it. Maybe we'll see more of that.
The non-guarantees, the big signing bonus.
Yeah, it's just like that's some NFL stuff if I've ever seen anything. Like maybe the NBA is going to start transitioning into that, where it's just like a bunch of money up front, and then like, well, we can cut you over the last like couple of years. You never know.
Yeah.
No, I touched on Isaiah Stewart talking about Duncan Robinson, so I wanted to stay with him. What are you expecting for Isaiah Stewart this year off the bench?
Yeah. This is interesting because our last memory of Stu is like, oh man, we missed Stu because he didn't play those last 5 games in the playoffs. But yeah, I think the important thing for Stu is to continue to be one of the best interior defenders in the NBA on a per minute basis, and then maybe get a little bit more opportunity to stretch the floor. I thought that was something that he looked like comfortable doing when he got to do it that year. He was playing power forward, and I think that having him be able to do stuff like that, like shoot threes, would really open up the offense for bench lineups in a way that I think would be advantageous for those lineups. So I'd like to see it a little bit more. And then the other thing is like he's not an amazing like roller screener diver. He's not an amazing like passer out of short roll situations. And so like if he's going to contribute in more ways offensively besides like post ups and offensive rebounds and threes, like it's gonna have to be threes that help him contribute offensively. But the defense is great, and what you like to see. I do wonder, like Joseph Sinke talked about this a bunch. Like it's hard. Like he plays defense because he plays so hard. He gives max effort, and it's hard to give max effort for like 28, 29, 30 minutes a night. And so I do wonder that like if he were ever pressed into a larger role, like we would probably see his production and his defensive ability kind of drop. And so like that seems like a limiting factor for him as a player. It's like, so it just makes him a career backup. But if you can continue to be really, really effective in those 20 minutes a night, like, who cares, right? Just make sure that it stays at that role. It stays at that level.
Yeah, I know I mentioned about like him possibly starting at power forward, which I was like half joking, but maybe not. Because like usually when players like post offseason stuff, it's like they're saying like, hey, I'm working on this. Like, don't forget I could do this. He's been posting a lot of just
shooting.
Like perimeter shots, like all shooting. He showed a defensive clip, which he kind of got cooked in the defensive clip. I don't really know why he posted it, but I mean, like, it is what it is.
I am still working on this, I promise.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think the role that he had was like perfectly suited for him because, like you mentioned, like playing 30 minutes a night and playing as hard as he does, you got to be in like peak physical condition. I think him, like, if you can keep him like around like 22 to 24 minutes a game off the bench as a backup, I think that's more suited for like what he can possibly provide defensively. And like what he showed us is like that rim protection was so great last year. I know he got hosed on the all defensive team because I feel like if he would have just played the 20 minutes, he may have gotten some votes there. Maybe he makes it all defensive team, but I'm not really expecting too much out of him offensively. Maybe, they pick and pop with him a little bit more, maybe attempts like 2 threes a game. But that's all I'm asking. I don't need him to let it fly. I feel like everyone let it fly in the Monty year. They're like, hey man, we're not even running plays. Like, let's just get some shots up at this point.
Yeah. But like last year he took like 4.5 shots a game, right?
Yeah.
You'd like to see him like could just take more shots, right? Like be more of an offensive threat, be a player that defenses have to like think about a little harder on the offensive side of the ball.
It's funny, before we did this podcast, for whatever reason, my algorithm decided to show me the play where he crossed up Evan Mobley. And everyone like went wild. And I was like, bro, like, I know he's got that in his bag. Like he showed it like when him and Duren started, I think under Casey, where he would try to put the ball on the floor and everyone's like, oh, like where was that? Like, does he have that in his bag? And like every once in a while he'll like flash it. And it's just like, man, like where the hell are these handles coming from?
Yeah, I mean, or I'm thinking about the one he did to Embiid, right? Like he got Embiid pretty good. It's like, yeah, like it's like maybe we don't have to do that every night, but like maybe we do that like once a week instead of like twice a season.
Yeah, like just cross someone up. I still remember the Mason Plumlee one from a few years ago. That thing was just nasty. It was like I still watch that from time to time. Like, how the hell did he do that? It was like some Globetrotter shit. I was like,
it was gross, so gross.
That and the John Lure cross up on Chris Paul. That one's an all-timer in my head. I got one more player.
All right.
And this is kind of fits perfectly because this is like a 9-man rotation. And it's Ron Holland. Wanted to save best for last. So what are your expectations with Ron in the sophomore season?
Yeah, I want to see a big leap from Ron in his sophomore season. He really stood out to me in Vegas in summer league when I went to go see him in person. It was really cool to see him like blossom as a playmaker and as a scorer. It's funny too because like he spent that season in the G League Ignite and he scored 20 points a game in the G League, and it's like, so he could score, but that's not what he was asked to do last season. It's very much like, hey, like focus on your defense and your rebounding, and that's the way you impact the game. And just like, excuse me, be a terror in transition and make stuff happen. And like that's how we need you to play. And he did it, and it was awesome. And this summer league, like he was so good as a shot creator. He made a bunch of threes that felt great. That looked his comfortability, like shooting those shots was good, was really good to see. He shot really poorly from three last year, and so if he gives them a big boost as a perimeter player off the bench next season, like that's going to be great. He has a lot of upside. He's such a long athlete. He's very fast. Like he's not Ausar fast, but like he might be like he's not Jaden Ivey fast, but like he's right behind those guys in terms of like just pure straight line speed. And so like my expectations for him are like last year as a rookie, like you got your feet wet and you played 81 games, and like we know that you're capable of like being an NBA player. Like this season is about like, hey, show us that you can do a little bit more on offense. And like the more you show us you can do, the more responsibility you can have, because like otherwise, again, like these shots are going to go to Duncan Robinson and Caris LeVert, who are like fine options, right? But like not nearly as exciting as and as upsidey as like letting Ron just like take a couple shots, right?
How was Summer League? Because I heard a lot of trash talking on my TV.
Oh
And
man, Dennis Jenkins talks so much trash.
Does he?
So much trash.
I thought it was Tolu Smith because I was like, you could hear the trash talk on TV, and like NBA TV is just like excuse the language, because like they were just like talking like they were like dropping F-bombs.
It's like poor Tyler Kolek, right? Like Dennis Jenkins just like eating this dude's lunch. He comes down, he like steals an inbound, he's like thank you, and then just like drives down and scores. It's so funny. But yeah, if you've never been to Vegas, you absolutely should go. It's a really cool experience to be able to see the games like that close, and everything. That was like, it's like I'm watching the game and like the Pistons are playing really well, and the dude in front of me in a Boston jersey is Googling like Pistons 24. It's just like it's like who is this guy? Like what's going on? So yeah, like it's just a really cool environment, right?
I've always wanted to go to Vegas. It looks like a good time. Maybe we'll have our first round pick. Who knows? They're tradable this season.
They are, yeah.
We'll see. But I have been on the biggest like Ron Holland bandwagon ever since the summer league, because I was like, man, that shot looks good. His landing looked a lot better. Shot 40% from three and pretty good volume in the summer league, and I was so impressed with the processing. Like some of the passes were turnovers, but like just the process of finding the open man, I thought was really improved. The defense was great. I think he averaged over 4 steals a game in the summer league as well. But I'm glad you brought up the G League Ignite, because like, yeah, he was scoring 20 points a game, but like his role with JB was more of just like that energizer. And a lot of times, like fans would like be on the timeline, like scrolling, saying like, why aren't we pushing the pace? Why aren't we running? Ryan comes in, they start running.
Yeah.
Like
He makes stuff happen.
Yeah, it's just the thing. Like he's such a good connector and a good bench piece for the Pistons. And when Ku and I were talking last week, like he's like, I think Ron and Ausar could split minutes at power forward. And I was just like, I could see that for Ausar. I know Ron has put on a little bit more weight, but I think he's had to get closer up to like 230 if you ask me, if you want him to play like power forward, especially back up. But I mean, I think his role is going to be very unique. I think JB really relied on him a lot to kind of, charge that second unit of being just like the fun energizer guy, get everyone amped up, maybe getting a couple fights once a week. But I mean,
play with energy, right? Play competitively, right? That's the nice way to be like, nah, he was starting shit. It's fine.
No, even JB is just like, yeah, we're going in the games. We want to fuck you up. And I was just like, bro. Like the fact that like JB said that on the Max Vernon show, I was dying, like, because you got like Stu, and he's like, what do you do with like Isaiah Stewart? He's like, don't forget Ron. Like I was just like, wow. Like, that's actually kind of funny. But I probably have really high expectations for him just because of the rookie season he had. And I saw like plus 10,000s on MIP, and I put $10 on it. I was like, bro, if this hits, I look like a madman.
Yeah, you got some financial motivation too. No, that doesn't hurt. That absolutely does not hurt. But yeah, he's gonna be. I came away from summer league feeling like there's a possibility that Ron's like the second best player on the team in the future. Like maybe it's not a like high probability, but like it's definitely more on the table than I felt like it was like at any point during his rookie season.
Yeah, I had a hot take with Ron his rookie year, and I think the hot take is it might turn it to be true, and I thought he was going to be the shooting guard of the future.
That still might be true. That still might be true.
I mean, if the shot develops, got a guy that can defend.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know.
That's a really big backcourt. That's where the NBA is headed.
Hey, I probably just pissed off a bunch of fans watching right now, but hey, that's what I do, man. I put fire on it, and then I walk away, and then they can simmer down, and they come back next week, and I do it again. Did have a question for you while we were watching live. I don't know if you still have a podcast or do you just like hop on from time to time?
Thanks, Sean. No, I do not have a regular podcast. I am starting to think about ways I can contribute more often during the season, especially now since I like have season tickets. I'll be going to games and stuff. So I'm thinking about ways I can do that. If that's like, publishing more DBB or like doing something on the Substack or like just hitting up Bryce and being like, hey, like, it's like, can I do some stuff? But yeah, I don't have a regular podcast right now, but I appreciate the interest. I appreciate the love. It's so cool that so many people like still remember me from a podcast I did like at this point, like 3 seasons ago. Right. And like still want to have me on and talk to me about the Pistons. So thanks for asking.
I remember it. I used to listen to it every week. Like if I was working, I was just like, okay, so I listened to the DBB because there wasn't like a lot of Pistons podcasts at the time. I feel like it's saturated so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I kind of love about like the space. There's so many different Detroit Pistons content creators and podcasters. Like I listen to Pistons Pulse. Like I listen to the Pin Down. I've been on the Pin Down a couple times with Blake and Wes. I swear every time I go on there, like it turns into a longer conversation than it needs to be, and I love it. Like I just get them thinking.
Yeah. I love those dudes. That's my like spiritual successors. So I love those guys.
Yeah, same here. Like every time I reach out to Wes, I'm like, I'm not having you on. You got to invite Blake. Like it's a pair duo. Like I got to have both of you guys on because I know if me and you do a podcast, Wes, we're going to agree with every single thing. It'll be the most boring podcast ever. Need some controversy. Yeah. Tom, what time is it in North Korea? It's got to be like, or South Korea. Yeah. Like what time is it, man? It's got to be like really early in the morning over there. It's got to be like 7 a.m.
Shout out Tom. What's good, Tom?
Tom is so locked in. Like I'll scroll on like Instagram and he's like commenting. I was like, bro, like he is probably him and Jack are probably like the 2 biggest like Pistons super fans I've ever seen.
Yeah, I got to meet Jack in person when he came here on his like world tour. That was really cool. He's just it's funny because like he's doing the world tour and he's doing the social media and stuff, and you're like, oh wow, and you just meet him and he's just like a down to earth guy. He's just like really happy to be there. Yeah, I'm old. Like I'm gonna be 35 this year, right? And so it's like, oh yeah, like he's in his early 20s. Like he's got like so much life ahead of him, and I'm old.
I mean, hey man, I'm 33. I feel old. Like, I remember when Jack first reached out. He's like, "How do I do this?" And I was like, "Bro, I said, just get your feet wet, dive in, like,
just do it.
Just do it." Like, I met him. I went to the Killian Hayes Revenge Tour, which I was like, I gotta go see Killian. He's on the
Brooklyn game.
Yeah, I went to the Brooklyn game. Bro, that game was hilarious. They were booing him every possession. Oh my God. They got like people behind me, like, why are we booing him? Like, he used to play for us. And they're like, is he worth booing? And I was like, look up his stats. And this guy's like, oh, hell no. What? He's trash. So is he a 2nd round pick? I was like, no, we picked him over Tyrese Halliburton. He was like, what?
What?
Oh, yeah. I did meet Jack. What was funny is he was doing like team meetings at the team store.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out and like this guy's got a line like halfway down like the concourse, and he sees me and I talk to him and we're talking for like 25 minutes and he's got like all these people like want to like get a picture and an autograph. I was like, dude, I gotta let you go. They're getting pissed. Like I just got the line. He was like, oh yeah, good to meet you. I met him and his girlfriend. They were like really nice, but like,
Yeah.
and the motion Jack has is crazy. Like in a year.
It was like, yeah, man, like, everybody loves my podcast and like everybody remembers me. Like, that's cool. I never got to throw out the first pitch at a Tigers game.
Me either, man.
Yeah. Just saying.
The most I ever got to do was ask Blake Griffin a question, which was a really fun.
That's still pretty good. Were you in like a scrum or was it like a podcast thing?
I got invited to Pistons Media Day.
Okay.
From one of the old social media managers, and I got to ask him a question, and like he couldn't answer it, but like he walked away, and he just like kind of smirked, and he's like, "I can't answer it, but I'm gonna be thinking about it later."
All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
My claim to fame is so after Game 4, when they lost on the Tim Hardaway Jr. non-call, it was me and my buddy. We go to Café Sous Terre or Café Sous Terre. I don't know. It's French. I don't even pronounce it. And we're just like, we're sitting on it's a really nice, that was an afternoon game. So it's like, it's still really nice outside, it's still light outside. We're like, just like getting some drinks and just being like, man, like, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And then I go in and Tobias Harris is just like sitting there at the counter, like also like getting his drink. And it's just like, oh, like he was pissed. He was pissed. And it's just like, it's like, hey, be like, yeah, it's like, yeah, man, that wasn't fair. That was some bullshit. He's like, yeah, no. And it's like, okay, cool. That's the extent of the conversation. But it's just like, it's not like these dudes are not in the city and like, don't care about winning or losing. Like he was super pissed.
It is funny. A buddy of mine, Corey Woods, who like works for MLive, like he texted me the other day, and he's like, "Bro, what's Reggie Jackson doing here?" And I was like, "I think
he's just hanging around in the city."
Yeah, I was like, he might still have a house here. I'm not sure. I was like, maybe they're getting a backup. And he was like, "Bro, don't even wish that upon Pistons fans. You know how they are. They would crash out if Reggie Jackson was back in a Pistons jersey and like wearing number 1.
Oh wait, is he still a free agent?
I believe
that's
so.
It. Okay. It's like we talked a lot about how Marcus Sasser wasn't really the answer at point guard. Reggie still can play point guard. Yeah, that's wild. Okay.
Is he a free agent or no?
I think he is a free agent, yeah.
Either that or Arntellum says, "Hey, I've got a former client that's a free agent. Hey, Westbrook, come on down."
No, Westbrook is going to be a Sacramento King, right? Like they've been like both the Warriors and the Kings have just like signed like 4 guys like under the table and like not done anything because they're working out the Kuminga thing.
The last I read, it's like the only way they could get that to work is if they could trade Malik Monk, and no one's touching that contract with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. It's not bad. Not a bad player though. I think
no,
it's that bad, but yeah, no, I get why they're not.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of front offices, they just don't value like shooting like they used to. Like 5 years ago, like shooters were getting paid. Now you got like guys like Gary Trent like on vet minimums. It's like the wildest. I'm not comparing the two, by the way. Malik Monk's a really good player, but it's like they just don't value shooting anymore. It's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you, sparing an hour. Do you have anything you're working on currently right now that you want to plug or promote?
Nah, just as always, like my spiritual basketball home is Detroit Bad Boys. So shout out to DetroitBadBoys.com. This is still where I go to check out my Pistons information. The site recently did like a redesign that looks pretty cool. So check that out. Become a commenter. We have a really good community of commentators over there. So yeah, DetroitBadBoys.com.
Well, I have your Twitter link in the description below. I have DetroitBadBoys.com in the description below. I got one thing I want them to bring back. It's off season. Bring Pistons Twitter awards back. It's been like 5 years. Like I need it back. It's off season. If Sean Corp's listening, like, man, I don't even care if you invite me into it. I just like to see the chaos on the timeline.
Like I don't even need to be a candidate. Just bring it back. It was fun.
No, just bring like I think the last person to win it was Nick, and like that's how
Oh
long
yeah,
that's how
yeah,
long it's been. Like it's
yeah.
been a
Okay.
minute. I'd love to see that just brought back just for the chaos in the timeline because I remember like like Nick got the big guns and Blake and Luke Kennard got involved. Like, yeah, we'll give a jersey away to get you votes. So I was just like, man, yeah. See, Tom doesn't even know there's Pistons Twitter awards. Like, Tom would be all in. We got to bring him back now.
We got to bring it back and put Tom in the bracket for sure.
Yeah, Tom definitely would get a high seed just because he's just so dedicated. I mean, like this man was flying to Detroit during the Monty era. Talk about dedication and wasting your money.
Yeah, that's wild.
Wasting your money, Tom. Hopefully they win on opening night.
It's like nobody told you to do that. We're glad you did, but nobody told you to do that.
Well, I appreciate you coming on as always. Definitely have to do these more regularly. I was looking, hadn't had you on since November, and it's September.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that is longer than I was thinking. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely, I have to have you on during the season, or
for sure.
Do podcasts. Maybe I was doing post game podcasts every game, even the West Coast trip. I was staying up till like 5 in the morning. Oh man,
you're a braver man than me. I got to get up and do work in the morning. I can't do post game pod after that.
Oh, I still went to work, and my boss is like, "You smell like way too much coffee on your breath." He's like, "How many pots?" I was like, 2. And he was like, "Man," he's like, "That's just that's crazy."
insane.
But we will see you guys next week. I promise I won't do back-to-back podcasts again and forget that I scheduled one. But hope you guys have a great night. I am going to go watch some Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. Can't believe I'm rooting for the Vikings, Laz.
Just root for your parlay. That's what everybody else does.
I hope Ben Johnson loses, but see you guys next week. Peace.